One of my it's all right. It's all right.
Help me, God. Oh, God.
There are times that we need to take time. Ever since yesterday while I was praying, the Lord put us, I says the Lord put a song in my heart. And I played that song all the way to church this morning. And I didn't know how it was going to be relevant until I walked in the door this now. And that song is a favorite song of mine, and it's by Bishop Rance Allen. And he said in his song, "Hear my voice when I cry and I stretch my hands." Every now and then, when your burdens get heavy, you got to stretch your hands. You got to stretch your hands out to the Lord and say, "God, hear my voice. Hear my cry." One part of the song, he said, "Keep me from certain things." But the last part of the song, he said, "Lord, bless me." And there are times blessing don't mean cars, money, and things like that. God blesses you with just the peace, with the love, and with the understanding. Sometimes we put too much in material stuff and don't put enough in the things that really count. You know, all of this stuff we try to get now, you can't take none of this with you. The things we focus on, it was here when we got here, and it's going to be here when we go, and we're going to have to leave it. But when you have joy and peace and love and understanding and things like that, those things that you can keep with your spirit and your soul, you can carry with you, because the Lord is always with us. All right. Yeah. I got the church and I asked them to put these books out. Last Sunday, man, if you let me tell a story. Last Sunday, when I left here, I left and went to Esther. I had to do the homegoing service of my high school teacher. And she was very, 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 very close to me. And the Lord gave me a scripture, and it stayed with me all week. This has been a week of, what's the right word? Reflection on myself. Sometimes I think reflect on other people too much. when we need to check our own self out. This has been a reflection of myself. And it's only when you can look in your mirror and see you and realize who you are and what you are, it's what will help you look at other people in a different eyesight. And as I sat in the gym, we did the homegoing service in the gym at Esther High School. The gym wasn't as crowded as I thought it would be, but it was crowded. And I looked at the numerous people who were there, and I thought about the subject that I had, and I thought about my purpose and what I was doing. This has been a reflection on me. I spoke, and this is not I'm talking about life today. I'm not talking about being dead. This was a funeral message, but I just couldn't get it out of my heart for this church. Because not only does it speak death in one thing, it also speaks life if you understand it. And there's Revelation chapter 20, verses 12 through 14. And when you get time, go home and read it. When you get time, go home and read it, because it carries a great impact. Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. Now, there are a lot of other scriptures that tied into it, and I'm not going to be long. When I woke up this morning, I didn't have this demonstration on my mind. When I woke up this morning, I got up early. I couldn't read enough, so I just sat on the chair. And then I went back to bed, and then when I woke up, this whole demonstration, all this was in my mind. So I'm gonna do this demonstration, and I'm gonna go, because I just want to make a point. Revelation chapter 20. I want somebody, I don't generally do this, but I want somebody to read verse 12 for me and verse 15. Because I don't want y'all to think I'm doing it. I want it to come out the book. Revelation chapter 20, verses 12 and verse 15. Did anybody else?
As recorded in the book. 15. And anyone whose name is not found according to the book of life is thrown into the lake of fire. All right.
I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there. And here's, I just wrote this question now. I just wrote this question now, and I just want y'all to think about this. What is the end of your story? I want you to take a minute and think about that. What's the end? I don't want you to think about nobody else in here today. I want you to think about what's the end of your story. Because everybody in here, life is a story. We may not see the picture. We may not know all of what it is, but everybody in here who is here now, your life is a story. And your story began when you were born. That's when your story began. It began when you were born. Now, I could make the argument that since God knew us before we were born, then maybe your story began somewhere else. But that's in the infinite mind of God. I just want to talk about what I can know and prove from the book. So your story, the beginning of your story is when you were born. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you, I ordained you for what you were supposed to be. So everybody in here, God made you for a purpose, and you're not here by accident, you're here for a purpose. I want everybody to get that. So you got birth, you got here for a purpose, and now let's get to where I am. Let's get to where I am. And this is the thing that just affected me. If you read that text, It says, and books, not a book. It says books were open. Books. And then in chapter 15, it said everybody whose name wasn't written in the book. I want y'all to look at that now. I want y'all to see this. Books versus book. There are two different sets of books. And everybody's name who was not written in the book of life. Some translations say the Lamb book of life. The book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Well, then why all of these books? It says the deeds, watch this, not only your actions, but your thoughts, your desires. Everything that you thought and did is written someplace in a book. That's your text now. And you're going to be judged out of the book if you're not in. You're going to be judged out of the book if you're not written in this book. So that means my life history of everything I did is someplace written. In Revelation 20, this is what they call the great white throne judgment. In other words, this is the final judgment. It is nothing after this. And the judge is going to be God. And whatever he says on that day is going to be final. And everybody not here, that's here, going to be cast into the lake of fire. I need y'all to get this now. And he said, you're going to be judged on your deeds. Evidently, everybody is not going to be judged the same. Watch this. What does this mean? God going to give you the correct punishment for the good you did and for the bad you did. In other words, he's going to look at everything you did in your life, and your punishment is going to equal to what you have done. But here's the thing I couldn't get around. Out of all the good somebody could have done in this book, they still going in the lake of fire. Make it plain, Johnson. You can come to church. You can tithe. You can sing in the choir. You can preach in the pulpit. You can do good every day. You can feed the hungry, clothe the naked. You can do all of that. And if you're not in this book, you get cast in the lake of fire. I need you to see this, because too many people now are dying, and we're just taking it for granted and don't think it's nothing. Let me be personal. Most of y'all know my mama. My mama was just as feisty as she could be. My mama, Miss Louise, cut from the same cloth. Both of them just as feisty. Both of them is just as feisty as they can be. And when my mama started with the dementia, moving towards Alzheimer's. I used to get people to, I would pray for my mama long distance, but I used to ask people to go by and pray for my mama because I was concerned about my mother's soul because my mother was so feisty. And I thought about how, when I was riding on the road coming this morning, I thought about how everybody told me about how pretty my mama looked when they viewed her walking by the door. And while I was riding on the road coming this morning, the thought said, even when we're dead, we spend too much time about what this world thinks than about what God thinks. Now, yes, I wanted my mama to look beautiful, but what's more important than my mama looking beautiful is where did her soul wind up? Do we ever consider the fact my brother's gone, my daddy's gone, my mama's gone, my sister gone, everybody out my family, that my immediate family, the one that I raised up here, not my family now, all of them are gone. And if one of them is not in this book, and if they, I don't care how much good they done, if they in this book, they in the lake of fire. And I don't want to be accountable for your soul. The Bible tells me if I tell you what's truth and you don't obey it, you're responsible. But if I don't tell you, then I'm responsible. And I'm gonna be serious with y'all. I thought about how many people have died from this church, and I almost broke down. I'm saying, am I responsible? I want you to know I got friends and family who I love dearly that tied up into the religion of works. If you dress like this, and if you do like this, and if you do this, and look, at the end of the day, y'all, if your story ends in this book, you lost. And we take tradition and mess with scripture so bad. Now, they call us the Lamb Book because these are the ones who accept Jesus. When Jesus died, he took our sin and gave us his righteousness. Get that now. He took our sin and gave us his righteousness. So I don't care how good we do, if we never accept Jesus and he takes our sin and give us his righteousness, we lost. And it's not just your actions, it's your thoughts. If your thoughts are conniving and evil and trickery, you just as bad as somebody who did it. Because God is the perfect judge. He knows the difference between your intents and your motives. We might not, but he does. And here's the thing that really turned me. I listen to a lot of things probably other preachers don't listen to because I'm always trying to learn. And I was listening to a preacher that said he died, and when he died, he had what we call NDEs, near-death experience. When he died, he met another preacher at the door of hell. And this is what really got me. This is what tore me up. And the preacher that was in hell for one sin. That day he died, he and his wife had an argument, and they never repented. And he was in hell for that one sin of not repenting. So y'all, watch this. One unforgiven sin can cause you to go to hell if what he said was correct. I want y'all to think about that. You know, people get mad, won't come to church, won't tithe, won't pay. And watch this. I just say coming to church don't save you, but come with the right attitude, the right mind. Come with righteousness in your heart. As Evangelist Sanders say, come with holiness. Holiness, it ain't deep. Holiness is cleanliness. That's it. That's it. You can desire to have a clean mind. And why I say it's always a struggle, why I say, and I'm done. I want y'all to see this. Why I say it's always a struggle is because of this. It's because of this. Deacon Bruce, can I get you for a second, please? And I'm gonna ask you to do something that I'm gonna ask you to do something. I'm gonna ask you to lay on that chair for me right now. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna ask you to lay on that chair for me right there. When God had done created everything for 5 days, the 6 days, he created man. And this is the word. When he created man, man was still dirt and wasn't living. Man was made from dust, which is dirt. And man, even after he was created, he was still dirt. So let's get this straight. All you super holy people, you dirt. You come from dirt, and you going back to dirt. And here's the thing that I want y'all to see. Now, as long as I've been preaching it, this just hit me this week like it hit. When we die and we decompose, we go back to dirt because that's where we come from. You are not, this right here ain't going, I'm going to someplace else. This body right here is not going to heaven. It's going back to the dirt. So I'm almost, I was scared. I'm going to be honest with you. I was always fearful of dying. But for me to get to God, I got to shed the dirt. You got to shed your dirt. Let's get this straight. You got to shed your dirt. And the way you shed dirt is death. So death is really a benefit for those who love the Lord. Psalms 116 and 15. Precious in the sight of the Lord are the death of the saints. Now watch this. I use Deacon Brooks because Deacon Brooks is one of the givingest, he and his wife, one of the givingest, humblingest, helpingest people I know. They are. They follow their own path, they trust the Lord, and they do good. A lot of times they have to stand by themselves. But here's what I want you to get you to see. All of that is written in this book if they don't get their name in this book. One writer say, no liars, no adulterers, no whoremongers, no informants. They give a list of them. None of them shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Let's go now. Let's go. Let's bring it close. So when you're sleeping with people and ain't married to people, if you're shacking with people, you can't make it to heaven. Now, this is my second to the last big point. I said, coming down the road, I said, well, Lord, they rolling the dice then, those who are living saying, I'm going to do this, and then I hope I change and get saved before I die. I said, well, they're rolling the dice. And here's what I believe the Lord told me. And this is what I want y'all to know. He said, no, they're not throwing the dice, because throwing the dice means they got a chance. He said, if they in this book here, they ain't got no chance. They can throw the dice all they want. Throwing the dice ain't gonna help them. Here's what he did. When we were dirt, he saw we were dirt, and he stood over us. And I'm not God, I ain't even trying to pretend. I'm just using this as an example. He stood over us and he said, and gave us a part of him, which was his breath. Watch this. He gave us a little, each one of us got a little piece of his life. Because everybody who, whether you believe it or not, talk to all your doctors, the first thing you do when you're born is, and the last thing you do when you die is, the breath came in and the breath got to go out. Ecclesiastes call it like this. Ecclesiastes say there's a biblical cord that's tied together, and when the cord get cut, the soul get freed from the body. So watch this. The thing that's going to God is not this, it's the breath. Because this your house. Paul said, for this old earthly house of this tabernacle, when it's dissolved, I have a building not made by hand. This is your house. This is not you. This ain't gonna be saved. Here's what I want all y'all to know. Your flesh is not going to be saved. I don't care how you work on this flesh. I don't care how you dress it up, how good you make it look. Your flesh ain't gonna be saved. Your flesh is gonna rot when you die. It's gonna turn back to matter, and it go back to the dirt. Watch the fertilize. So everybody who playing with their life now, I'm clearing me. I'm clearing me now. And watch this now. And what make this so serious to me is me. When I say I'm clearing me, I ain't just about clearing me because I'm preaching to y'all. I'm clearing me because I'm trying to get rid of any unforgiveness, any sin, anything. And the way to we take the Bible and make it hard. The way to get rid of it is to confess it to God. Turn your back on it and walk away. And if it causes you a struggle, tell God every day, I'm struggling, I'm dependent on you. So if you don't help me with this, God, I ain't gonna be able to do it. You said you didn't want nobody to be lost, and if you don't help me, I'm gonna be lost. Help me to get through this, because I want my name written. So I'm telling everybody, If you do what you want to do, it's going to catch you. Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God, you're going to get paid for everything you've done. This is the book. You got a record, your payday record in the book. You're going to get paid for everything you've done, good and bad. But no matter how much good you've done, it can't outweigh the bad, because no sin shall enter the presence of God. So all it is some people going to have lighter punishment in hell than others. But you're all in hell. Are we all? Are we all not? That's it. That's the story. You got to choose for yourself, because you already, when you born, I need to make that clear. When you born, you right in, because you born in sin. When you born right here, and the only way from here to here is Jesus. No other way from there to here but Jesus. Watch this. And if you don't get from there to here, it's nobody's fault but your own. Don't blame another person. You made the decision to do whatever you decided to do. So when you say you in love sleeping with somebody, when you steal, watch this now. Watch this. Watch this. Let's make it. A stealer is a robber. When did we rob you, Lord? We rob you in not doing my tithes and offering. So you can give $5, $2 and say, that's all right. You may get credit for $5, but you still in the book. You still in the book. And what's the end of your story, y'all? Which is the end of your story, this set of books or this book? That's the question today. Ain't nothing else more important to you. I started praying. And here's the thing. I'm in the church. The Lord listens to me. The Lord knows I ain't lying. There's not a day, 2 or 3 times a day, I don't pray for y'all. I pray for me, my family, my extended family, and both of the Revelation ministries. I do that all day, every day. Do that during the night when I wake up and I'm in the church and the Lord hearing me. So he know I ain't lying. And whether y'all think I'm lying or not, that's up to y'all. And my prayer now, since Sunday, was, Lord, please write all us. Because if you get here, everything between here and here is protected. So my prayer for y'all every day is, Lord, write them in the Lamb book of life. I make it short. Because I don't want one of y'all to be lost. But you responsible. And I'm glad sooner or later you're going to have to give an account. Now, one of these days, Deacon Brooks, I done let you stay down there so long. Sister Brooks, Deacon Brooks, how about sit up with me, please? Sister Brooks, could I get you to come up here, please? I need you to do something for me. I want to finish this off clear. Thank you. If you sit there with him for me. Genesis 1:26-27. And he created them male and female. Watch this now. Watch this. Depending upon, you can look at this more than one, but there's a theory called the gap theory, and I don't want to talk about that. But there's another theory. He created them male and female, and he went to two. And when he got to two, God put him to sleep. Took one of his ribs, DNA, took one of his ribs and formed. I need y'all to understand this. I need y'all to understand this. Only God can create. We can form. We can take what is already made and make something else. But we can't create nothing from nothing. Only God can create nothing from nothing. So here it is. He took, and I want y'all to get this. He took a part of his, y'all need to get this, his dirt, but his breath, and made her. And because she has his dirt, she's a part of him. Because she has his breath, she's a part of him. I need y'all to see that now. I need y'all to see that. So both of them carry equal value because of his breath, not because of the dirt. The dirt ain't valuable. The dirt is dirt, but because of his breath. But with his breath, he put in his role and his assignment. Because he pre-assigned you before you got here what you're supposed to do. So you got to roll. Watch this now. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. When Adam was introduced to Eve, he said, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. He did not say this was breath of my breath. Because it wasn't his breath. He did not say breath of my breath. He said bone of my bone, dirt of my dirt, flesh of my flesh. Because it's just his, part of his dirt. And because it was part of his dirt, he said, twain has become one. You shall leave your father and your mother. Watch this, Dr. David. Leave the first set of dirt you come from. Because you need to be a part of the dirt where you going. I ain't got time to deal with specialized dirt. Watch this. I'm going to move on. Do y'all know sin was not created because of dirt?
That's right. That's right.
Sin was created from motive and intent from inside of you. Now the dirt had to pay. Do you know your sin deals with your soul and not your body? Now your body is dirt. But when you sin against God, you deal with your soul. Now, do you realize God, and Dr. Davis, I've been trying to figure this out, and I don't know how to explain it. I can't figure it. God took spirit and dirt and made a soul. Because they put his spirit in them from the dirt, but they still wasn't living. And when he blew his spirit in them, the spirit connected with the dirt somehow. And then there became a soul. And this soul is the only thing that's going back to God when it dumped the dirt, because then it becomes spirit without dirt. Hold on. All right, they'll move, but I'm going to stop. They'll move, but I'm going to stop. This is, I wrestle with this thing. I wrestle with this thing ever since last Sunday. I wrestle with this thing. Like even when I was up preaching, and even after I sat down I wrestle with this thing. And I'm going to quit with this because it's so much I'm getting carried. I wrestle with why they got so many books for people going to hell and a book for people going to be with Christ. That thing got me. Leonard, that thing got, I wrestle with this thing. I wrestle with thing. And you asked me this 15 years ago, and I finally got the answer. You asked me this 15 years ago in a different conversation, but I finally got the answer. Dr. Davis said it was so simple till it blew my mind. And I'm going to tell you all today. You asked me another question in Bible study, and I'm going to explain it. The reason it got so many books, because the book has an accurate record of everything you did. Would everybody agree with that? Okay. Then why they only got a book in? This is the shout point right here. Why you only got a book? I only got a book right here because when I accept Jesus and he gives me his righteousness, I ain't got no more record. Y'all, as long as I'm here, I got a record. But when I get here and accept him, I don't have none of my record written no more. Because every time God sees me, he sees his blood, and my record is not necessary. He has cleaned up my record. So I need books when I'm doing it myself, but when I go to Jesus, all he do is write my name because my record is covered. I don't need a record. If my name written here, it don't make no difference what I used to be. It don't make no difference what I used to do. It don't make no difference what I have done, because it don't count, because my record is wiped away. And there's so much more. Period. Now, oh Lord. Here are the other set of questions that you need to ask. I don't have time to do that. If you're going to hell, how long is eternity? Well, okay, better read that book. But if you're going to hell, how long is eternity? That's question number one. And then the second question is, what is hell really like? I ain't even dealing with them today. What's hell like? You know, the worst part of hell is separation from God. Complete separation. But it's so much more. So much more. And I'm not going to talk about that. But so much more. And then the shout is when you go to heaven. What heaven like? And watch this. And just like you get pay in hell, you get rewards in heaven for your suffering and what you've been through and what you had to deal with and how people talk about you, how people mistreat you, how people lied on you, the stuff you had to do without. And I'll talk about that another time. But y'all, Hebrews says, this is what Hebrews says, 10:25, I believe. 10:25. We appointed to death once, and then the judgment. This as sure as you're born, you're going to die, and you're going to be judged. And God going to be your judge. Now, some of y'all who theologians, I did not even deal with Thessalonians and those who will be taken away and all that. I'm talking about at the end of the story, because all of this is after that. Now, if y'all want to talk to me about what happened between that, that's a different story. But this is the final end of your story. Is going to, at the white throne judgment, is going to be the lake of fire, and you gonna have some rough company. The devil, the false prophet, and the beast gonna be thrown into the lake of the fire with you, and the evil angels, and this place wasn't made for you. And just in case you think it'll get overcrowded and you don't have no room, the book don't say heaven enlarge itself, but it says hell enlarges. It continues to expand the whole where we need to be. Now you can play these games and you can ignore what I tell you, and you can ignore what the Bible say, and you can talk about you know the word and you live in holy and all of them. The Pharisees, Jesus said, depart from me. I know you're not. They said, well, look, we fed the hungry. We clothed the naked. We did all that. He said, no. Your heart wasn't right. You did it for your own glory or your own power or your own prestige, and your heart wasn't right. And because your heart wasn't right, the Bible says where your heart is, that's where your treasure is. And if your treasure is attention and power and money and glory, you getting your reward right now. I talk to my children sometimes, and then a lot of times they'll tell me, well, Daddy, Daddy, and I know y'all talk to y'all too, and my kids are grown. This is my children, because they always be my children. Even if they get 80 and I get to be 120, they still my children. So it had nothing to do with they're grown or not. They tell me, Daddy, that's how y'all used to do it. And we don't do it that way no more. Here's what I want you to know what the Lord says. The Lord says you got freedom of choice, and you can do it any way you want to do it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to judge you by my standard. So if you do, you can ignore me, do anything you want. But if you ignoring me and you ain't right, you right him. You choose which one. That's it. You choose. And I ain't trying to dump on kids and my kids, because there's some old people still acting like children. Sometimes I find myself doing it. So I ain't trying to dump on the children, but there ain't nothing in between him. It's this or this. And you got to choose, and don't blame nobody else. And I told us, Lord, when I started thinking about, and I'm trying to believe that he put it in my mind. When he started reminding me of people and going, and that I do what I was supposed to do and say what I will say. And and my excuse used to be, until I saw this. Claire. My excuse used to be, and I got scared because I ain't know well I was hearing him. I had to look at myself because you make the excuse to say you try to keep peace.
That's right. That's right.
But you can't keep peace with what's wrong. So, in other words, this is still rebelling against him and refusing to do what he tell you to do. And I said, oh, Lord have mercy. So why? So it's crazy to preach all these years and die and go to hell. And for you to live all these years, Elder Jones sing all these years, my wife to put up with me all these years, and to die and go to hell. And I've made a commitment to the Lord since last week. Deacon Brooks was there. He'll tell you everything I say. I said it. And I walked outside, and I'm close. I walked outdoors, and a lady walked up to me, who I know really well, and hugged me. And she said, I want to tell you something. I said, what? She said, my son refused to go to church. So my son didn't want to hear nothing about all this God thing. She said, after you got through preaching, said my son came to me and said, Mama, I'm going to church someplace. Because he saw the heaven-hell picture. A lake of fire. Y'all want me to, I'm not going to tell y'all about what's happening in the lake. There's a lake. That's another sermon. Come back another Sunday, get the lake. And it ain't no way out. Once you get there, it ain't no way out. St. Luke chapter 16, verse 19. Start reading right there. Rich man Lazarus. Tell you about how you get there and you can't get out. All right, y'all, let's stand. I told y'all wasn't no preaching this morning. Deacon Brooks and Sister Brooks, not only, and I thought about y'all, Deacon Brooks, I even had a dream about you. I not only appreciate y'all for what y'all did this now, I appreciate y'all for the spirit y'all have in everything y'all do. And y'all make me, I used to get mad at you. Now, the day, true day, the day of true day.